A man ate a bag of black licorice every day, and it killed him. This is his story. FL is a 54-year-old man. He's sitting in a fast food restaurant, finishing his meal. Then, without warning, his eyes roll back. His body goes limp. He slumps forward onto the table. The people around him freeze. Someone calls 911. By the time help arrives, FL is on the floor. He's making gasping sounds, not breathing, gasping. These are agonal respirations. Agonal from the Greek agon, meaning struggle, the final reflexive attempts of a brain being starved of oxygen. His arms start to jerk, his legs stiffen. It looks like a seizure, but it's not epilepsy, it's hypoxia. Hypo meaning low, oxia meaning oxygen. His brain cells are dying, and they're firing chaotically as they go. Then his heart stopped completely. The paramedics start chest compressions. They attach the defibrillator pads. The monitor shows ventricular fibrillation. Ventricular referring to the ventricles, the main pumping chambers of the heart. Fibrillation from the Latin fibrilla, meaning small fiber. The heart muscle fibers are quivering, twitching independently instead of contracting together. No blood is moving. This is cardiac arrest. They charge the defibrillator. They shock him once. The rhythm doesn't change. Shock him again. Still fibrillating. They push epinephrine. They push amiodarone. They keep compressing. 2 minutes. 4 minutes. 6 minutes. After several rounds of CPR and shocks, they got a pulse back. FL is rushed to the emergency department. His heart is beating. The rhythm on the monitor looks organized. Sinus rhythm. The medical team starts to breathe easier. They're getting IV access, drawing labs, preparing to intubate him and put him on a ventilator. Someone is calling for a CT scan of his brain. But minutes later, in the emergency department, his heart stopped again. This time, the rhythm wouldn't stabilize. 3 weeks earlier, FL made a decision, a small one. He was standing in the checkout line at a convenience store. He usually bought red fruit-flavored candy twists, but that day, he picked up black licorice instead. Real black licorice. He'd heard that some candies were better than others. He thought this might be a healthier choice. He liked the taste. Strong, distinctive. He started eating it every day, 1.5 bags, about 50 to 60 grams of the active compound. He'd been doing this for 3 weeks. He had noticed he was feeling tired. His muscles felt weak. But he was 54. He had a history of tobacco use. He ate a poor diet. He figured that's just how he felt now. That simple choice, switching to black licorice, had set in motion a cascade he couldn't see. Back in the emergency department, the team is fighting for his life. They shock him again and again. They push more medications. The rhythm keeps degenerating. Ventricular tachycardia. Tachycardia meaning fast heart. The ventricles are beating over 200 times per minute, but they're not filling with blood between beats. Then it collapses back into fibrillation. Then brief moments of organized rhythm. Then fibrillation again. The lab results come back, and suddenly the picture changes. The lab results revealed the answer was in his blood chemistry. 2 milliequivalents per liter, 5 to 5. His kidneys were dumping electrolytes at a catastrophic rate. But why? If you're watching this, you care about understanding how the body works, how things can go wrong. This channel is built on that curiosity. If you learned something today, if you want to keep learning, the subscribe button is right there. It's free, and it means these stories reach more people. Now, back to FL. Severe hypokalemia. Hypo meaning low, cal from kalium, the Latin name for potassium, emia meaning presence in blood, low potassium in the blood. This, severe. This explains the cardiac arrest. Potassium is essential for the electrical repolarization of heart muscle cells. When it's this low, the cells can't reset properly after each contraction. The QT interval on the EKG, the time it takes for the ventricles to contract and recover, gets longer and longer. And when it's long enough, it creates the perfect substrate for a deadly arrhythmia called torsade de pointe. Torsade de pointe is French for twisting of the points. The QRS complexes on the monitor twist around the baseline. It looks almost beautiful until it degenerates into ventricular fibrillation, and the heart stops. But what could cause potassium to drop this low? A differential diagnosis means the difference between diagnoses. What else could it be? One possibility is primary hyperaldosteronism, also called Kahn syndrome, named after Jerome Kahn, who described it in 1955. In Kahn syndrome, a tumor in the adrenal gland produces too much aldosterone. Aldosterone is a hormone that tells the kidneys to hold on to sodium and dump potassium into the urine. It causes hypertension, hypokalemia, metabolic alkalosis, everything FL has. But when they check his renin and aldosterone levels, they're both suppressed. Not elevated, suppressed. If he had a tumor making aldosterone, the aldosterone level would be high. This doesn't fit. Another possibility is Little syndrome, a rare genetic disorder where the sodium channels in the kidney tubules stay open all the time. It creates the exact same picture as too much aldosterone. Pseudo-hyperaldosteronism. Pseudo meaning false. But Little syndrome is present from birth. It's genetic, lifelong. FL was healthy until 3 weeks ago. His family history is negative. This doesn't fit either. What about diuretic abuse? Thiazide or loop diuretics cause the kidneys to waste potassium. Some people take them secretly to lose weight. But the urine electrolyte pattern is wrong. And the metabolic alkalosis fits mineralocorticoid excess, not diuretic use. The doctors go back through his history carefully. Medications, supplements, diet, and then he mentions it. The licorice. 1.5 bags a day, every day, for 3 weeks. The answer wasn't a tumor or a rare syndrome. It was something far more ordinary, and that made it deadlier. In 1809, a German chemist named Karl Robicke isolated a compound from the root of the licorice plant, Glycyrrhiza glabra. Glycyrrhiza, from the Greek glykos, meaning sweet, and rhiza, meaning root, sweet root. He named the compound glycyrrhizin. It turned out to be 50 to 150 times sweeter than sucrose. That's why it's used in candy, that sweetness. But glycyrrhizin does something else. In 1948, a Dutch physician named F.E. Revers documented the first cases of patients who developed severe hypertension and hypokalemia. They were taking a medication called carbinoxolone, a derivative of licorice, for peptic ulcers. The medication was helping their ulcers, but it was destroying their electrolyte balance. For decades, doctors knew licorice could do this, but they didn't know how. Then, between 1988 and 1991, researchers in Edinburgh, Scotland, Dr. C.R.W. Edwards and Dr. P.M. Stewart, figured it out. They discovered that glyceric acid inhibits an enzyme, a very specific enzyme, 11-beta-hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase type 2. The enzyme lives in the kidney tubules, right where aldosterone works. Its job is to inactivate cortisol. Cortisol, the stress hormone, looks almost identical to aldosterone. They're both steroids. They're both made in the adrenal glands, and they can both bind to the mineralocorticoid receptor in the kidney. But cortisol is everywhere in your blood. If it could activate the mineralocorticoid receptor, you'd be dumping potassium all the time. You'd die. So the kidney tubule cells have this enzyme. It grabs cortisol molecules before they can reach the receptor, converts them to cortisone, an inactive form. Cortisol is deactivated, aldosterone gets through, the system works. Unless something blocks the enzyme. Glyceric acid blocks the enzyme. When you eat black licorice, glyceric acid is absorbed in your intestines. It's metabolized to glycerotinic acid. This metabolite has a tissue half-life of 2 to 4 days. It accumulates. It binds to 11-beta-hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase type 2, and it shuts it down. Now cortisol floods through. It activates the mineralocorticoid receptors. Your kidneys think you have massive amounts of aldosterone. They start retaining sodium, dumping potassium. Your blood pressure goes up, your potassium drops and drops and drops. The same molecule that made candy sweet had killed before, and it was about to kill again. In 2006, the FDA removed limits on glyceric acid content in candy. Manufacturers could put in as much as they wanted. Most American products labeled licorice are actually flavored with anise oil. They contain no real licorice at all, but some do. The imported brands, the traditional European brands, the ones that taste strong and medicinal, those have real licorice, real glycyrrhizin. And if you eat enough, for long enough, it will mimic a life-threatening adrenal tumor. FL had been eating 50 to 60 grams of glycyrrhizin a day for 3 weeks. The enzyme was completely blocked. His cortisol was running wild. His kidneys had been dumping potassium into his urine for 21 days straight. Back to FL, now on his second cardiac arrest in the emergency department. The team knows the cause now. Glycyrrhizin-induced pseudo-hyperaldosteronism with severe hypokalemia. They start aggressive potassium repletion, intravenous potassium chloride, but you can't give it too fast or you'll stop the heart another way. They're giving the maximum safe rate. They're also seeing rhabdomyolysis developing. Rhabdo meaning rod, referring to the rod-shaped muscle fibers. Myo meaning muscle. Lysis meaning breakdown. His muscle cells are breaking down. When potassium is this low, skeletal muscle cells can't maintain their membrane potential. They start to die. They release their contents into the bloodstream. Myoglobin, creatine kinase, more electrolytes. The rhabdomyolysis is making the electrolyte imbalance even worse. They keep shocking him. They keep pushing medications. Amiodarone, lidocaine, magnesium. The potassium is coming up slowly, but his heart won't stabilize. The ventricular arrhythmias are continuous. Torsades, ventricular fibrillation, brief moments of perfusing rhythm, then back to chaos. His brain has been without adequate oxygen for too long. Even during CPR, blood flow to the brain is only about 30% of normal. The damage is accumulating. After consultation with the family, they decide, no more. FL was pronounced dead within 24 hours of his first collapse. He never regained consciousness. The case was published in the New England Journal of Medicine in September 2020, a cautionary tale, a preventable death, because this wasn't rare. Licorice-induced hypokalemia has been documented for over 70 years. The mechanism has been known for over 30 years, and still, people don't know. So here's what you need to know. Read ingredient labels. If a product lists licorice extract or Glycyrrhiza glabra and you're eating it regularly, you need to be aware. The FDA warns against eating more than 2 ounces, that's 57 grams, of black licorice per day if you're over 40. Even that might be too much for some people. If you eat licorice regularly and you develop muscle weakness, irregular heartbeat, or fatigue, stop immediately and see a doctor. Get your potassium checked. Tell them about the licorice. And if you're taking digoxin, diuretics, or you have any heart condition, avoid licorice entirely. Hypokalemia makes digoxin toxicity more likely. It makes arrhythmias more likely. It can be deadly. This is the difference between a snack and a poison. Dose and duration. FL didn't know. Now you do. As always, take care of yourself and be well.